Hi, my name is Mitch Stephen, and I've bought a house every 4 to 5 days for over 2 decades. That's about 100 houses a year and 2,000 houses in my career. But hey, who's counting? Now, all that being said, and $7 will get you a cup of coffee at one of those expensive coffee houses. But the point is, I have a lot of experiences. I've never been the smartest guy in the room, but I've had a lot of good things happen and a lot of bad things happen. And I've learned how to minimize the bad things and how to increase the good things to a certain level that life is just fine. In today's episode, I want to invite you in to watch a portion of an interview I did with Mike Banks. Mike Banks and his partner Ari Page have literally helped hundreds upon hundreds of my students fund their deals at very, very low interest rates to 0% interest. They do it all the time. So for those of y'all who are relegated to being just a bird dog or just a wholesaler because you don't have the money, this is going to be a grand interview for you. Please watch this interview. It's going to change the scope of your business. Imagine being able to buy those houses and make the lion's share of the money instead of having to take a bird dog fee or a wholesale fee. That's what this interview can do for you. So stay tuned and watch this interview with pen in hand. Believe me, there's going to be things you want to write down. I also want to give you a link right now so that when you hear this interview, you won't have to go find it. You'll have the link to go to the show notes so that you can get in contact or do whatever it is you need to do to further your career with these guys. So the link is 1000houses.com/fund now. Check it out. So this is a long-winded way to say this guy right here, Mike, you're going to want to know him. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Doing good, Mitch. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. So give us a little bit about your background. Tell us how screwed up your childhood was, and then let's figure out how you got here.
All right. Well, it all started when I was 5 years old. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, I've been in this industry for 10 years now. You know, we've established over $1 billion in zero interest business credit. That's what we focus on, zero interest for an average of 12 months with all the major banks here in the country. And within the first 3 to 4 weeks, our clients receive the funding in their hands, assuming that they qualify, and the qualification is super simple. It's just about their credit score. So within the first 3 to 4 weeks, you can get up to $100,000. And over the course of the 12-month membership, people are getting up to and sometimes over $250,000. And there, a lot of our clients are in real estate, doing real estate deals, and that's what they're using the funding for. But when I got started with the company, we were super small. We had a couple employees at that point. Now we have over 55 employees. We're on the Inc. 5000 list 5 years in a row, going on 6. You know, we got over 2,400 positive reviews with a 4.9 rating, and we're just continuing to grow our team and do more volume every month. We establish about 10 to 15, depending on, you know, the month and the way the banks are responding, 10 to 15 million a month in credit that we're establishing for our clients. And yeah, I run the company now with Ari, who's the CEO. And, you know, we have great relationships with guys like Mitch. And I think you were saying before we started, you've sent us like 400 clients since we started about 5 years ago, right?
Last time I looked, it was at 437. And the reason why that happened is, one is I know the power of what you do and how important it is as a young investor, because I was one once upon a time, didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Where was I going to get some money to even turn around with? You know, like I just needed something to work with. And so I met you guys. I saw immediately an opportunity for my audience, because a lot of the people in my audience are just starting out, and that means they're starting out broke or with very little cash. And I just recognized that this is a good marriage, and I wasn't wrong, because you use these strategies the right way and you have a little bit of juice to get you over the hump, i.e. some money or some cash. You don't need that money out for a long time. You just need it for a little bit. And the problem is where do you get it? You guys were solving the problem.
Our partner is called Plastic, and there's also another partner that we have called Melio. They're basically set up as like a bill pay service in a sense. But what they'll do is they'll charge your credit card. You'll pay them like 2%, 2.85%, and then they will send the wire to the title company. So Melio or Plastic charges your card, and then they send the wire to the title company.
What kind of credit score does a person need to get started with you?
So ideally like a 720 and up, but there's a little more to it than just the credit score. But if you're around a 720 and up, you should be pretty close to qualifying as is. There's other things that we look at like debt to credit ratio. We want that to be at about 30% of your total credit limits. That's where your debt should be, at 30%. You don't want to have a bunch of new accounts, like credit card accounts. It's okay if you got one new credit card account, but if you've got like 3 or 4 new credit cards that are showing on your personal report within the last 6 months, then usually you want to wait. So there's just a couple things like that: credit score, debt, new accounts, negative accounts. And that's pretty much it. If your credit's overall in decent shape, you got a couple major bank credit cards open that you've had open for a couple years or so, then you qualify. If you've only got a $500 Walmart card and a 680 score, then you're in a limited situation. So we would need you to grow your personal credit a little bit. We help with that as well, though. We'll get people personal credit in the beginning if they're super limited, because in order to qualify for business credit, you have to have a strong personal credit profile consisting of a couple major bank cards, 720 score, about 30% debt to credit.
So a lot of people don't know, I bought my first 100 houses on credit cards long before there was someone like Mike and Ari to help me out. But I was on to the process, exactly what they're talking about in this interview. So before we proceed with this interview, would you do me a favor? If you find this kind of information helpful or informative, please hit that like button and also hit that share button. Let others know that we exist. And for heaven's sakes, if you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. All right, we're going to continue on with the interview. We could go into all that, but that'll boggle the average guy's mind. You're a professional at this. These words come out of your mouth like, water down out of a hose, but let's just send them over to 1000houses.com/fund now. And over there, you'll put in your range of credit score, and then a consult will come size up and see where you're at and tell you how it's going, what you need to do, or, what it's going to take. And I think that's the best way to do it. Go there. You got to know your 3 credit scores.
Yeah, if you have a general idea, most people nowadays know like where their credit's at. So it'll ask you, is your score between a 680 and 720 or a 720 and 780? So they'll pick a multiple choice, and then somebody will call them from our business development team, and we'll go over your credit report. We'll go over the program, and we'll also give you like a pre-qualification, kind of like a strategy session or a consult. It's totally free though. So if you guys go there, you'll learn about your credit, you'll learn how much you qualify for, and how you can use it in your business. And the call isn't going to be usually just a quick call. We'll get on the phone with you and go over everything within your business and with your credit, so you guys fully understand what we can do for you guys.
Last I heard, you could get up to $240,000 worth unsecured credit advance. Yep. Is that still the same?
Yeah, exactly. Like up to $250,000, but a lot of people do get more than that. Some people get less than that. Just kind of depends on where your credit is at when you start. But I was telling you about a client of mine who his first year he had over 200,000, and after working with us for 2 years, we've established just for one person over $500,000. And I've interviewed him, and he told me how he was able to 10x his revenue. Like, it sounds like cliche or an exaggeration, but it's not. It's exactly what he told me. Went from doing $40,000 a month to doing $400,000 a month, wholesaling real estate nationwide. He's one of the few that are doing it like in every state across the country.
That concludes this episode. I certainly want to thank you for jumping in and listening to that interview that I did with Mike not so long ago. It's very, very important that you figure out how to fund your deals and quit letting them go for a simple little fee. All right, so now we're at the point where I'd like to give you my free offering, and today I want to offer you the chance to listen in on one of my recorded Q&A calls. These calls happen every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and there is no time limit on them. We're going to answer everyone's question until they're answered. What I want you to do is listen to this recording of one of those calls and get a feel for the general tone and understand the level that we're talking at and how valuable that level is. So check it out. It's about an hour and 35 minutes. Just go to 1000houses.com/free-stuff. And there you can scroll up and down the homepage till you see a link that reads recorded Q&A call. Click on that. It'll be downloaded to you immediately, digitally, and you'll be listening to it in no time. I'm sure you're going to see the value in this weekly call.